Hi, back with Yarnies. Today we're going to do part of the pattern of this hat. And when I did this hat, some people don't go up to 6 inches like I said in the last episode. And I did about 4.5, close to 5, if give or take. And I went to almost 5.5 here, give or take. And maybe it's 4 here on our hat here. And I got to what I want in my size for the brim because I don't want to fold to be funny or anything. So when you put it on, you want it to be a little roomy on top like this. Got the man's hat and stuff. So we'll dive right into the next step and sit and relax and have our nice knitting time. So what we're going to do is turn my camera to viewing everything right here. Got a really good setup right here. So we got our pattern a project right here and stuff. So I'm doing the opposite of what I did here on this hat, how I did dark versus variegated yarn or pattern yarn, what some people call it too. But I'm doing this as my for my pattern in the yarn. This is my solid background, as you would call it. And we're going to add that in now. So I'm at my beginning of my round where I started right here. And sometimes I use stitch markers for my beginning of my round so I know where it is all the time. But this one I didn't. And I didn't do that on my other one either. Because sometimes I lose them and it's kind of odd. But we're going to start with this. I'm going to show you how we add in our yarn. And this yarn goes thick and full, means it has some thin parts, some thicker parts. It doesn't matter, it works. So, and it's wool, washable wool. And all you're going to do is do a stitch. And we're going to keep the knit purl round. We're going to do knit purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2 all the way around until we get to the beginning, and we're going to do it for 2 rounds. Then we're going to go to solid knitting with our main color that we have here that's variegated. So we're going to go to a purl. I'm going to add it in. So we have our stitch, our needle in our stitch. We're going to set it on like a loop. And I would prefer the end to be in the inside. So I go like this, so the end soaks in here like this. Then you just do a stitch normally, like you're going to crochet, like you're going to knit, and put your end in the middle, and then just crochet. Why am I saying crochet? Knit. So we're going to purl 2, purl 2, knit 2, and we'll do this for this our first round of this with our solid color here. And with our solid color, my hand's in the way, so sorry for that. So our solid color, and I purled 2, I knit 2, and we're going to purl 2. This will be our first round. And then once you guys get done with that, we'll do our next round. And then I'll show you what we're doing after that. So if you want to pause the video or do it with me at the same time, that's great. But if you want to pause and then go skip ahead a little bit, that's fine too. Please give me a like and subscribe. So we are doing this all the way around. And I'm a little fast because I knit pretty fast. And usually with knitting, I don't tend to look at my project and tell what I'm doing. I can just go right along and just do my project, and I can watch TV and listen to music. Some people can only just focus on that and not their other stuff that's around them. But I have done it for so many years that. But I'm gonna I am gonna measure this at the moment. Show you what I was meaning by how many rows I have. Did I say almost 4? That would have been up to here, guys. For my mistake wise, I did only about, because it is a thicker yarn. Almost 3. So when we're done with these 2 rounds, I'll make it about 3. And that will help it not be so much at the bottom that you have to roll up or anything. But if you want it to be a rolled up brim, I would do your 6 rows and do this as a knit, and do this solid pattern part, not knit and purl like you've been doing for the bottom brim. I would just do a knit. Just do a knit all the way around, so you know when you fold it, it stops right there at that color part, and then you can still see the design. But this one is where you don't fold the brim, so if you want the brim to fold, then you're going to have it come up to where the pattern ends, like I'm showing you right now, and it'll be folded like this. But it would be just knitted all the way around if you're adding that color in, if you know what I'm saying here. Yes. That would be another way of doing the same hat. And I did this first hat and thought, well, what if I did the opposite? And it would be cool, so people would choose what kind of style they wanted, for a man. You could do it for a woman too, but in more womanly colors, unless you are an outdoorsy type of gal, then it can be your type too. So I'm almost done with this round here, and sometimes it's fun just to get a head start on your knitting projects for like presents and gifts and all that. And I don't really think about that until the month of, and that's not the best idea, because then you have a lot of other things going on and stuff. So it's better when you have a lot of things not going on to get things done. So you just go around knitting and purling. And I didn't follow any sort of like actual pattern here. I just did it from my own brain, because as I've learned with crochet, I've been saying crochet a lot because I've been crocheting a lot, and because a year and a half ago, whole year and a half ago, I almost 2 years, hurt my hand and had to give up knitting for a while. But it's like riding a bike. You get right back into it, and that's what I did, because I didn't have like years of not doing it. I had almost, give or take, 7-8 months. Then So it's fine now, but and sometimes you don't want to start things too early if you know it might be a little bit different, but I'm okay with that. And then we'll come to the end here, like I did here, and you see how you have your end of your yarn here? You want to lock it in a way so you don't get a hole where you added yarn. And we're not going to disconnect it once we finish these 2 rounds because it'll be adding in and sewing and all this stuff. I'll show you a trick that we'll do that will make it a lot easier. I can show you inside the hat I already finished here. So we just bring the yarn up here and drag it just a little bit. It's not very many rows anyway to be dragging it, but if it was a lot more than this, I wouldn't prefer to do that because then it would stretch it and it wouldn't be as stretchy here in this general area for the hat to stretch. And so if it was like this much longer, I wouldn't do that. I would cut it and then do it and sew it in. But when it's only a little few rows in between the next pattern, then that's okay. Because then, give or take, it won't ruin the stretch here as opposed as if it was longer. Because we don't want a long strand that might get caught and stuff. So we're going to take this, wrap it here like this. See how it's wrapped around? Then we're going to come bring our yarn in like we're going to purl here. And you want to interlock or your other yarn as well around it. And then we're going to bring this in and then purl. And then when you're done with those 2 stitches here, you're going to pull it. And it makes it a little tighter, and you don't have that little hole that was there before because you locked it in. And if you want to see more videos on that, how to lock in yarn, adding yarns and stuff, that's fine, because that's just a little short little thing that would I make a video of that locking in yarn? No. But I can show you on the pattern part on the other locking parts, because you'll have to strand your yarn a certain way and you have it locked in certain areas, but not as much. It's only on the sides here, and you'd see with it. So mind my fingers, it's okay. But I'm working in the chicken yard, so my fingers don't look as pretty, but that doesn't make a big difference on what I'm showing you here. So I'm going to go around this whole round, and then we're going to go on to the next part. And how many rows that I do on the next part would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. 10 stitches before we get to the next pattern here. So now all you're going to do when you're done here is pick up your next I'd say yarn that's not the solid color, right? Solid color, and we're going to just knit 9 to 10 rounds. And then when you get that done, we'll start on our next project on our next episode. So stay tuned for the next part of our pattern. Bye.